all I'm saying is, it's clearly a lot of demonic activity going on for you to even consider, like, for your mind to be debased enough for you to get to that level
where you're sleeping with 9-year-olds.
Where you're sleeping with a 9-year-old, and that's just the ones that we know about.
I've seen what they do, the ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying.
Guys, welcome back to our channel. We are Velvet Devotion, aka Mr. and Mrs. B. We are Christian artists here in our hometown of London, UK, and today we are going to be talking about this mess with the diddler and all of the people that are just included in the debauchery and the foolishness that is going on. We want to apologize for being away. As you guys know, we have had a baby recently, but what we didn't explain to you is that we also had Mr. B's sister getting married, so that has been a lot of time taken up in our year, and so we just needed to take some personal time to deal with those things. But we definitely wanted to come back and give you guys some fresh content. We have really missed you, and we really want to be as encouraging as possible and help artists who may be struggling. Obviously, I know Mr. B normally does this intro, but today we're gonna let him give his initial reaction. We literally just watched a video where Tony Busby, who is the lawyer dealing with the Diddy case, he talked a lot about a lot of disgusting things that have gone on, and yeah, we just thought it would be good for you guys to get our initial reactions to this.
So the first thing that came to my mind when he started saying that how many cases there were and how there were other people involved, I really thought of Revelation 6:13, and the stars in the sky fell to the earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. Listen, all of these high-powered celebrities, and we're not just talking in the music industry here, we're talking in the entertainment industry in general, we're talking people in the medical industries, because all of these people would have seen the victims come through at some point. Maybe they were involved, maybe they saw what happened. There are going to be a lot of names being dropped, and Tony said he had, what was it, 30 names at least?
No, he said they had over 3,000 calls in 10 days.
Right.
But that the 120 people that they're definitely going forward with were just the ones that they had managed to confirm that they had enough evidence to go ahead with in the 10-day period.
Wow. Yeah.
That's insane.
That is insane, and it's so deep, because I think for the longest time in any kind of, if we're going back to the music industry for now, the longest time the way in was through these gatekeepers, was through the people that were already in power. Somehow you would need to connect up by giving your music to someone who had a link, and then that person would get back in contact with you. You would somehow meet someone like Diddy. First of all, you'd meet their agent first, probably, because you won't even get to that person until you've met someone else, unless you meet them by chance somewhere. And then through that interaction, they would deem, right, yeah, can we work with this person? No, we can't. But for years, the rumors of what has been going on in the entertainment industry have been made known, and not just rumors; these have been proved now. Like there's so many people it's been proved of. Like R. Kelly, already done. Like my man's already in prison,
and he might even get implicated in this.
He's probably gonna get implicated again. He's probably mixed up in all the stuff that Diddy was doing too, because my man was doing stuff in his own house, but he's probably involved in all this other stuff as well. And then there's people in the entertainment industry that we already know about as well. You know, we know the likes of people like Harvey Weinstein as well were involved in this stuff, and who knows, all of this could have crossed over at some point. They could have all been involved in the same parties, the same excursions, the same meetups? We don't know.
Well, what we do know is that many Fortune 500 companies, many high people in positions of, you know, power have been stepping down from their positions recently. And what Tony Busby has confirmed, as we heard, was banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels.
Wow.
There were loads of big organizations who were party to this, who knew about it, and who were paid to be silent.
Yeah.
And he said that these people are going down. They're all being implicated in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, it lets us know that you need to not be hanging around people who are doing these kind of things, because even if you are seen to not necessarily be the one to have done it, you will be implicated if you are participating. But if you're just there, this guy said if you were a witness in the room and you did nothing, and it's deep and it's disturbing. It's extremely disturbing. It's extremely disrespectful to so many people and their families. And he said at the beginning of the video that he himself experienced threats. And he experienced threats, and he knows that the victims will experience threats, which is why I believe that when Diddy came to ask for bail, they refused him, because if he's out on bail, he's going to be doing everything he can do to avoid these consequences.
But not only that, if he's out on bail, he could be going around threatening and punishing the people who he thinks are coming forward.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. It's crazy as well that they were saying that the MO was the same every time. So you were offered a drink, and you know what's funny? I remember being younger and like wanting to, you know, have a drink or whatever wherever I went, and I always ended up being suspicious, because my mum always was saying to me, like, don't just be drinking and eating from anyone's house. And so even at certain times, if I'd be thirsty, I'd just be like, no thank you. And it's crazy because not only was he putting people in a situation where he was drugging them and they were completely unaware, but he was actually saying to them, like, if you do not take this drink, you will be kicked out. So public shunning, public humiliation, your career being over before it's even started. And when you see so many people in the music industry, in the film industry, who their careers either were halted or never fully took off properly, it now makes you wonder, were these people either turned away or stopped from doing their career because they didn't want to participate in this? Like, when I think about people like, for example, Normani, right, who has been trying to do what she's been trying to do for years, right, and nobody seems to be understanding what's going on with her. Maybe this is why. Maybe she doesn't want to take part, right? You know, and I'm not sitting it, because who knows? We don't know. Maybe she could be involved. Maybe everyone could be involved. We don't know. But what we do know is that this is foul. It's disgusting. It's demonic, and it is absolutely unacceptable.
One thing that's really kind of sad about this, but it's all too familiar, is that I found personally, as a black man, that I find that a lot of black guys keep in their emotions, they keep in their thoughts and feelings, and I find that it's very difficult for them to express themselves. And not only that, they feel like they don't want to be the person who brings down someone else. And so I've known people personally who have witnessed things but have not ever said anything because of fear of damaging a relationship, of damaging themselves, of getting themselves into trouble. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say this is just black people, no, but I'm just saying this is what I've experienced in my own community. And I'm not just saying it's guys either, but there is a culture of not dealing with your thoughts and emotions and things that are happening to you. It's almost like not having enough self-respect to sort out your problems, to deal with what's happened to you or around you. And as was mentioned in this talk with Tony and people that he got to talk as well, one of the things that the lady who came up said, she said that a lot of people don't speak about these things for years, and this is something that's well known. But one of the reasons they don't speak about it for years is because of fear of repercussions. Like, if they speak up, am I gonna get hunted down by Diddy? bring it back to Diddy. Am I going to get hunted down by Diddy? Am I going to get in trouble? Are people going to respect me anymore? Because there is a big degree of shame that comes from these experiences. And that's one of the things that they said, is that, you know, once you've done these heinous acts, the victim is left feeling such shame that they don't even know what to do themselves. And it's really just sad. And I think something else, like, and maybe, you know, people agree or disagree, but I think some of these things do go back, for black people at least, to the slavery times, like where we were squelched in both physical and emotional and every way. We were squelched as a people. Okay. And so the concept of just not dealing with your emotions was a big thing. And I think that the traits of the slavery is still seen today in just the broken homes that we experience in our communities, and broken relationships, and broken down everything, marriages and everything. And
even to the point where they would rather, and I say they because we can only speak on behalf of our community because we are black people. We're not saying this is happening with all black people, because we know it's not. And we definitely know that this is happening, I think, more in the West rather than other places in the world. However, when it comes down to it, what is very clear is that a lot of our families would rather have a facade of keeping things together. Everything is fine. The family's all well and good. They don't want to actually deal with it. So they would rather just pretend like everything is normal. And so anybody who dares to say that no, everything's not normal is then shunned by the family, is then made to be the person who is oppressed, or made to be the person who's the troublemaker, made to be the person who does not, you know, doesn't fit in with us. And it's actually a social outcasting, if you will. And it's funny because we are social beings, we are social creatures. We need support, we need community, we need places where we feel safe. And it's interesting because one of the things that one of the women said, and I can't remember which woman it was, but she made it very clear that victims who deal with abuse in general, but specifically sexual abuse, they have to deal with, or they need extensive counseling, medical treatment, and community support. And it's not to say that these people can't get through to the other side and end up living a good life, but that they will be traumatized for the rest of their life by the situation. It will affect them, and they do need counseling, they do need medical intervention, and they do need community support. And what I would say is that even if it's a situation where your family do not acknowledge or recognize what has happened, go out of your way to find people who do believe you, who do acknowledge what has happened, get the counseling that you need, get the medical treatment that you need, and get the community support that you need from a different source. Because we are living in a day and age where not only can you get those things, like specifically the support from like not just social media, but from church groups, from community outreach centers, things like that. But if you are an artist and you are dealing with these issues, you will not be able to fully function in your artistic ability if you have not dealt with them. Because you will feel
100%.
This continuing feeling of shame, or feeling that there's something wrong with you, will permeate into every element of your life. It will permeate into your ability to sing or to create or to act or whatever it is. It will literally move into every area of your life, and it will destroy you. And I have known people personally who struggled for the longest time, not just knowing who they are, but really questioned whether or not they should even walk in their artistic ability because of this type of abuse. And when you know, you see these people actually go and seek out this counseling, seek out this medical treatment, seek out this community support, they can turn themselves around, they can become better people, they can actually really, really move forward in a positive way and completely turn around their lives.
I think one of the saddest things that was mentioned in this talk was that one of the victims had said that because of the things that he experienced that Diddy did to him, he left the industry. He didn't want to do it anymore. And he said he thought he could have been something great if what happened to him didn't happen. And I think that's really, really sad, because what's been enabled to happen here is that through someone else's actions, you have not realized your talent, your calling, your gifting and what it can be used for. You've been traumatized to a point where that part of your future is now gone. And ultimately, I think there is a degree of, sometimes you have to try and take back the power that someone else has over you. It's difficult when something like this happens, and I'm not trying to invalidate what happened to this guy, but I think what I'm trying to say is that we're living in a day and age now. This is the day of the independent creator.
Absolutely.
This is the day of the independent artist. Just as we are doing right now, and we're not any kind of major success or something yet, but what we're trying to say is, like, you can get on social media now, you can make your own website, you can make your own video, vlog, whatever, and put out your content and still have some level of success. Granted, you may not get to the multi-millions that Diddy has, that Usher or Beyonce or whoever has, but you can still do really well for yourself. You can live your passion, because the day and the age of the creator is here to stay. I believe that for sure, because like, no longer is the industry gatekeep so much that you actually have to go through these chains to make it. Like, you don't need a label anymore to become successful. And I'm just sad that this guy who went through what he went through came up in a time where that wasn't around. We have to be so grateful now that as creatives we have this opportunity, and we've got to take it. And there's 101 people out there telling you the same thing. There's thousands of people, because it's true, because they're doing it. And more every day I'm seeing a new artist come out and be like, yeah, I've just started my channel, I've just started my TikTok, I've just started blah blah blah. And it's amazing to think that you have at the tip of your fingers access to millions and millions and billions of people through social media, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. That there, it just means you have to work a bit harder. Not a bit, a lot harder. You have to work a lot harder, because before it was, okay, am I better than the next guy? Am I better than this? And what they're really doing is trying to fit you to a mold to be a certain type of artist. So if Usher was a staple, right? Usher came up, but Usher was kind of similar to other people that came up before him, but he had something special. But they would want a new guy to fit in an Usher mold. They go, oh, you remind me of Usher. Do you know what I mean? Like, when Justin Bieber came up, it was like, oh, you remind me of Usher, you remind me of Neo, you remind me of blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, that's great, but as an artist, your natural creativity may be quite different from them. Even though you can be fitted to that mold, it might still be that actually, your art is just completely different. And I've seen a lot of artists these days that I really have a lot of respect for, like probably ones that people don't know as much. Like, there's a girl I know called Haley Knox. Like, I've been listening to her stuff now for the last year or so, and I'm really impressed. Like, she is so creative in her production style, in her singing, in everything, and she's just doing it. And yeah, she's no major success, but she has had millions of views on her videos, and she has had a lot of plays on her Spotify's and YouTube and everything like that. And she's doing it.
I would actually say that, what is your metric of success? Because the generation that we have come up in, it seemed like the only way to have success was to go through these channels, was to become a multi-millionaire, was to become a household name. But the day and age that we're living in now, you only need a few thousand subscribers, a few thousand followers, to actually make money from your craft and to make it your passion. And what we have learned is that there is a group of people for everyone. There is anyone who is a passionate creator, anyone who is an influencer or who could be an influencer, anyone who wants to create in any way, there is an audience for you. And it might not be millions upon millions. It might just be hundreds, it might just be thousands, but those people will support you. If you can be consistent, they will support you. They will help you to reach your goals and your aspirations. And what's crazy is, you might not be a millionaire, but you might make enough money to be able to get yourself a house, a car,
to leave your job,
maintain your lifestyle. In fact, I was literally talking to a creative artist, I want to say 2 days ago, and this woman has basically started up her own hair care line, and her and her husband are now both working for themselves, doing this hair care line together. They were able to give up their corporate jobs. And what's funny is, nobody knows who she is. But she's clearly doing enough that she is selling enough product to be able to have her own home, to be able to live a good life with her husband.
Go on holidays regularly as
They
well.
go on holidays regularly. They just bought a new house that they're fixing up. And nobody knows who she is. But it doesn't matter because she is happy and fulfilled in her calling. She's being creative. She's able to do whatever it is that she wants to do. She has a son. And it's amazing watching her thrive with her loved ones.
Yeah. And can I just say, like, I think one of the things that this Diddy situation is showing more than anything is that you really need to, as an artist, be extremely selective about who you express yourself to.
Absolutely.
Because not everyone who shows an interest in you is for you.
And not everyone is worthy.
Not everyone is worthy. And that's the thing. This is why having a target audience is so important. Because if you know who you're aiming at, like, what's the saying? You only need 1,000 true fans who pay you $100 a year or £100 a year, and then you made 100,000. That is so much less than what the industry is telling you need. But it means you can live a reasonable life and focus on your passion.
Absolutely.
And I think it saddens me to think that we have felt for so long as a community, as society, that we need to go through these gatekeepers to make it. But that time, I believe it's done. And I think with this case, it's about to be shut down. Hollywood is about to crumble down. It's crumbling. And once the names get dropped, it's finished. It's done. It's over. So many things are going to come out. Now, we are hoping and praying that the justice system in America, it produces the right outcome for these people, and the right people get the judgment that they need to just let justice be done properly. Because it could still be that after all this is said and done, there will be people who will get away with it. Sometimes that's just what happens. But as many as possible, and I think as Christians, we need to pray that this is brought to justice, because you don't want these same individuals out there thinking, yeah, I got away with it, I can carry on doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might scare them for a little while, and they might calm it down for like a few months, maybe a year or two. But old habits die hard. They'll come back to it because they've been doing it for so long. And
let me now that we're about to come to an end of this video, let's just start putting out some of these people right now. Let's not get it twisted. Even though this is all alleged, Tony Busby would not have come out and said all these things if he was not sure that these things were real. Okay? And let's be really real now. Who spends the most time with Diddy? I think the first two people that you're going to think about is Beyonce and Jay-Z.
I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately: Sean Carter. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
The first few people you're going to think about: Beyonce, Jay-Z, DJ Khaled, TD Jakes, Will and Jada.
TD Jakes?
Yeah, TD Jakes was counseling him for years. Yeah, this is why there were rumors about TD Jakes being gay, and apparently they were calling him a power bottom and all this, because apparently you know, he was taking it from Diddy or whatever. And it's like, I'm not sitting here trying to say that that is definitely happening. This is all alleged, okay? We are not saying that we know anything for fact.
Yeah.
But when you see Diddy around people, these are the people you see him around most of all.
It's true. And this is a thing, like, he is notorious for having these big parties, like, and
everybody comes to.
Like, Tony was literally saying 4th of July parties, album release parties, New Year's parties, Christmas parties. Like, my man's having parties throughout the year. Think of how many...
For 30 years.
30 years. Think of how many people in the industry
through.
had come through these parties. Essentially, you're coming to that party and basically everyone is high on whatever drugs. And he said some weird drugs like horse tranquilizers, cocaine, whatever. You're coming into this party. Basically, Diddy became like, he wanted it to make a Walt Disney kind of scene, right? When you go into Disney World,
A perverted one.
of course, a perverted one. When you go into Disney World, they are enticing all of your senses as soon as you walk in. There's smells that they put out. There's sounds that you will hear. There's visuals that you will see. Diddy wants you to come in and be laced with this drug so that you can be on the same vibe as everyone else and basically be loose enough to do whatever everyone else is doing.
And then he would record you.
Then record you, and that's crazy to me. I don't know why you'd be dumb enough to record this and
now,
to think that it wouldn't come out.
The thing is, he apparently, the reason he recorded people is because he was blackmailing them. Yeah, so he was basically saying, because apparently there were police in his pocket,
right?
There were judges and all kind of people, high-powered people, so that if ever it was a situation where he went down, he would not only be taking them down, but really he was trying to not let himself go down. So it was like, well, you can't say anything about me because you were doing this as well. You know? And personally, I believe, and it has been said, that this is one of the reasons why they targeted him, because a lot of people in high-powered places knew that he had these videos, and they were like, "No, I'm not getting silenced. I'm not getting pulled down with you." So they were like, "Let's just deal with this." And my thing is, God is real. God is not mocked. The Bible says very clearly, "Do not be fooled. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap."
He's reaping a great harvest of destruction right now, man.
Absolutely.
Listen, this man is going to prison forever. Like, he's going to prison. And look, I'm not God. I don't know. Maybe Diddy's going to turn his life around in prison and become a Christian or something. But if he don't, you're literally going to prison for all eternity. Let that sink in.
Absolutely.
Because you ain't getting out of it in this life, and you ain't getting out of it in the next life.
Absolutely.
As long as you don't repent. Do you know what we should do? And this is the thing. I think this will be a hard thing for a lot of people to swallow. But as a Christian community, we should pray for Diddy. We should pray that this man sees the error of his ways and repents of his sins truly. And I don't mean, just on a screen so he can show everyone. Yeah, that would be great. Everyone would love to see that. No one would really believe it. There'll be people that would hate him to the end of time. Let's be real. But for his own personal sanctification, his soul, his own
salvation,
his own salvation, he needs to repent of these sins.
And he needs deliverance, because I truly believe that there are a lot of demonic
for sure
spirits and influences in this situation.
Well, look, for years it's been like, and we're you can say this word, buzzwords like Illuminati have been thrown around, things like that, cult words like devil worshippers, that has all been thrown around in Hollywood as an industry, right?
Absolutely.
So we know that there is potentially this stuff going on. And look, let's be real, the evidence is quite clear anyway. Even in the music industry and the films, you will see certain things like that are dodgy, like people putting up signs and people having subliminal messages in their songs. And why do they need to do that if they're not in these cults? Why do they need to do that if they're not devil worshippers? All I'm saying is, it's clearly a lot of demonic activity going on for you to even consider, like, for your mind to be debased enough for you to get to that level
where you're sleeping with 9-year-olds.
Where you're sleeping with a 9-year-old. And that's just the ones that we know about. There could be more. And I've got to mention this right before we close off, because I know we said we're going to close off, but if you're a parent out there, and I know parents want their kids to be successful, but is it worth your kids' trauma? Like, is it worth putting them through something traumatic? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that all the parents knew what was going to happen when they allowed their kids to go into these situations. No, that's not what I'm saying. But when Diddy is telling you that I want to see your kid without you, a 9-year-old kid without the parents, are you insane?
Mm.
We just had a daughter. Do you think I would ever let any random man, no matter who, I don't care how many millions you have, how many hit records you have, I will never let another man sit down and be like, yeah, I want to speak to your daughter without you.
No.
Are you insane?
Yeah.
Sorry, she doesn't need to go through this channel. She can do it another way. Like I said, we're in the day of the independent artist. I will help her get to where she's going. You are not sitting down with my daughter without me.
And you know what's funny? This has gone back for so long. And sorry to bring up Michael Jackson's name again, but I remember parents were letting their children stay at Michael Jackson's house overnight. And it's like, I'm not saying Michael Jackson's, he was investigated for a long time and they never found anything.
Right.
But that is weird.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't care who you are. Why are you letting your child stay overnight at a grown man's house?
Yeah.
Who doesn't even, at the time, I don't even think he had kids of his own. Like, I could almost understand it if you knew him and you knew his wife and you knew his children and it was like, oh, they're going to have a sleepover. Do you understand what I mean? Because you actually know his family well.
I'd be like, well, your house is big enough. Can I stay too?
But this is
let
my
my
point.
kids stay with me in a separate room to you.
This is
like,
weird.
Come on.
Parents do weird things. And this whole thing of parents basically selling their children, because that's kind of what it is.
It's idolatry at the end of the day.
It's literally idolatry.
At the end of the day.
And it's like, it's crazy, it's insane, and it doesn't need to be. But listen, guys, we're gonna go now, because we've talked for a while now. Please comment down below, let us know what you feel about this in the comments. Let us know, do you agree, do you disagree? Just share your opinions, like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate you guys. We're so grateful for those of you who have stayed with us during our absence, and we're going to be trying to upload a lot more content, so we look forward to hearing from you. And you know what, guys, just one last thing, this is a real situation. This isn't just a topic to talk about on YouTube. Pray for these people that have been in these experiences. Pray for Diddy, pray for this situation in general. Like, this needs to be dealt with care and sincerity. So yeah, look, God bless everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.